Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the licensing hearing for 3 Intake Ave. Councillor Melly has been elected as chair, so I'll now hand over to Councillor Melly.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Welcome everyone to this licensing hearing. As well as being live webcast on the cameras, it will also be recorded and a recording available online for people to watch afterwards. I think everybody knows how to use the microphones. Just whenever you speak, make sure it's on and speak into it clearly for the benefit of people in the room and on the recording. I'll start with some introductions. I'm Councillor Rachel Melly. I'll chair this hearing. Also on the panel, to my left is Councillor Anne Hook and to my right, Councillor Jason Rose. So we'll be the hearing panel today. We've got several officers with us today. We've got Helen Sefton, who's a senior licensing officer, Angela Bilby, the democracy officer, and Jodie Ingram, who's our lawyer today. Would the applicant like to introduce themselves? I think we've got representatives of J&P Monkton Road Limited.
Hi, good morning. My name is Nick Semper from the licensing guys. I'm very pleased to meet you. It's my first trip to York, and here is the contestant.
Hello, my name is Kopinath Kalnadan and managing director of the company.
Great, thank you very much. Welcome to the hearing. Next on the agenda is apologies for absence. We haven't got any apologies today. We're all here, so we can go ahead as planned. So I'll ask the panel, agenda item 3, does anybody have any declarations of interest? No interest to declare. Okay, in that case, agenda item 4 is exclusion of press. Oh, I've got the numbers a little bit wrong. Number 5. Exclusion of press and public. So I will propose that we exclude the press and public during our deliberations and decision making at the end of this hearing on the grounds that the public interest in excluding the public outweighs the public interest in that part of the meeting taking place in public. Is that resolved?
Good result.
Yeah, great, thank you. Okay. Agenda item 6 is minutes. We have some minutes from the licensing hearing held on the 26th of June this year. Councillor Hook, you were on that hearing. Are you happy that they're a correct record?
Yes, I'm happy.
Okay, we'll approve those then. That's okay. Those minutes are approved. So agenda item 7, the determination of an application by J&P Monkton Road Limited for an application for a premise licence at 3 Intake Avenue in York. So is everybody... has everybody read the procedure and comfortable with it, knows what to expect? Is there any questions or is everybody happy to proceed? That's great, thank you. So I will start by asking the licensing officer to introduce the report.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. So this is an application for the grant of a premises licence at 3 Intake Avenue, York, made by J&P Monkton Road Limited. The nature of the application is to allow for the sale of alcohol for consumption off the premises at a local convenience store. The application is for the sale of alcohol off the premises from 6 AM to 11 PM, Monday to Sunday, with the premises opening hours also being 6 AM to 11 PM. A copy of the applications and plans are at Annex 1 of the pack. As part of the application, the operating schedule submitted by the applicant shows they intend to meet the licensing objectives as indicated in paragraph 9 of the report. The premises is not located within the cumulative impact area. I can confirm that the consultation process for this application was carried out correctly. The applicant has negotiated with North Yorkshire Police during the consultation period, and he has agreed to amend some of the offered conditions within the operating schedule. Therefore, North Yorkshire Police have made no representation, and the agreed conditions are Annex 2. Representations have been received from 2 other persons, and they have objected to the grant of this licence, stating that each of the 4 licensing objectives could be compromised if this licence is granted, and their representations are at Annex 4. A map showing the general area around the premises is Annex 5. So the committee has the following options today. We're making your decisions. Option 1 is to grant the licence in the terms applied for. Option 2 is to grant the licence with modified or additional conditions imposed by the committee. Option 3 is to grant the licence to exclude any licensable activity. Option 4 is to refuse to specify a person as a premises supervisor, and option 5 is to reject the application. That's my report. Obviously happy for any questions.
Thank you very much. So we'll now have questions for the licensing manager on their report. We'll start with the applicant. Do you have any? Okay, thank you. Any members of the panel have any questions? Yeah, Councillor Rose.
There's only one basic question, which is, given that the applicants accepted the North Yorkshire police recommendations, does that mean option 1 is including those if we were to go for it?
Effectively, yes. So they've already agreed to put those conditions on during the application period, so they form part of the application. Yes.
And my only other question was, one of the commenters had talked about the cumulative impact. Can you just clarify the distinction between what that means inside and outside of a cumulative impact area, if that's all right?
So yes, the representative has brought that up. That this property is not within. We have a cumulative impact policy in York, which is the city centre, basically. So this property is outside of the city centre. So our York policy would not apply to this application. The representative has brought it up. I think they've meant that there was enough premises, whereas that is not part of the decision whether there's enough. It's whether it would increase any of the licensing objectives, such as crime and disorder.
That was my understanding. Yeah, it's perfectly understandable to see cumulative impact and think that means the local area has lots of these. But I just wanted to clarify what our policy meant by it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the panel? No? Okay, thank you. In that case, we will move on to the applicant having 15 minutes to give their case. You don't have to use the full 15 minutes, but you have up to 15 minutes to speak if you wish to. I'll keep an eye on the time. Would you like me to give you a nudge when you've got 1 minute left?
See how we get on.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. My name is Nick Semper. Good morning. I'm from the licensing guys and I'm representing the applicant here today, which is JP Monkton Road Limited, here in the person of Kalanathan Copy in short, the prospective designated premises supervisor also. Now, 3 Intake Avenue, York is a former pharmacy. It's being refurbished into a small but well-stocked convenience store, which will serve the local community. We're seeking a premises license for off sales only 6 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, which is all very standard stuff, as we've found in thousands of convenience stores up and down the UK. Copy has numerous other stores in Yorkshire of a very similar nature. All are well managed. None have ever been reviewed, and have never sold underage restricted goods to anyone. Never sold counterfeits, tobacco or vapes either. He's an experienced operator with a track record of compliance with the licensing objectives behind him, running back many years over many numerous sites. Just for information where you're wanting to have a look at it, we brought in their company compliance manual, which goes right across their portfolio, and it is extremely comprehensive. I'd venture to suggest it is in fact exemplar. So as concerning this application, significantly there is no identified history of any form of problem involving these premises or any other premises operated by this applicant before you. That is an undeniable and self-evident fact. You'll also note that not one of the responsible authorities, your licensing experts in York, object to this application. The police made some suggestions on pages, you'll find them on pages 51 to 53 of your pack, and we were more than pleased to accommodate them. Therefore, as a panel, you cannot be insensitive to the fact that not one of the principal authorities which lead on these specific licensing objectives, which they represent or say will be trampled upon, were you to grant a license here today, they've have absolutely zero problems or concerns regarding this application. We've left them with the 2 representations from members of the public before you, which you'll find referenced on page 57 and 59. One is a cut and paste to the other, with a little expansion in particular areas, which is helpful as it allows us to take them both together. Most specifically, one comes from a resident of Joseph's Court who complains that the area always suffers from ASB. That you would be acting contrary to your Section 17 duties under the Crime and Disorder Act, and they also argue there's no need for another. So building on that document, the other resident from Lucas Avenue is adding on the theory that it would offend your cumulative impact policy were you to grant this licence here today, and they cite 24 ASB incidents and 23 violent and sexual crimes which have occurred within half a mile of these premises in April alone, and they've given the streetcheck.co.uk site as their source. So we can break that actually down to 4 specific areas, being crime and ASB, no need for another, harmful exposure to school children, to alcohol, and cumulative impact. Right, first, crime and disorder. The sale of alcohol itself does not encourage disorder or nuisance of itself. Rather, it's the irresponsible sale and the overconsumption of alcohol that causes problems. And these factors have never occurred at other outlets owned or managed by this applicant. We note the references to the ASB and crime stats in these reps, and we've therefore served on you in advance of this hearing, not only the street check overview, which shows that it is actually a medium area of a lower level super output area. Okay. Secondly, we've sent you the official crime mapper data for the area for the last 6 months, and there it shows there have only been 3 ASB incidents reported in the vicinity of these premises. And of all incidents, that area gets 1 incident every 16.5 days, which is remarkably low for any city. So I must congratulate you on that. The concluding pages of that report, which I sent through, shows that the City of York overall is below average compared with comparative basic command units across the country. There's some reference to incidents within half a mile radius. The Section 182 guidance of para 2.27 clearly states that beyond the immediate area surrounding the premises, these are matters for the personal responsibilities of individuals under the law. As this gentleman has sold no alcohol to anybody in that vicinity, anything that's gone on before clearly has nothing to do with him and cannot be held to his detriment. So I'll now deal with a no need for another argument. Succinctly put, the area is already sufficiently served by multiple shops and supermarkets selling alcohol. That's the problem. There's no tangible benefit were you to grant another one. Well, that's an opinion. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. However, para 14.19 of section 182 guidance issued by the Secretary of State is very clear on this. It says that need concerns the commercial demand for another shop such as this, and it's a matter for the planning authority and the market. This is their quote. This is handed down from government. This is not a matter for the licensing authority in discharging its licensing functions. That's the directive of the Secretary of State. So in my submission, the no need for another argument is a relevant consideration and need not sit before you today. Harmful exposure of children to alcohol harms. Okay, right. The shop is a 10-minute walk from the school is a 10-minute walk from this shop and is on the road to and from school. I should think that would apply to nearly every convenience store in the UK. None of them would be able to open or indeed trade if that were a deciding factor under the Licensing Act of 2003. The fact is, we don't sell alcohol to children. We never have. We don't want to. We never will. And furthermore, we are test purchased regularly on countless occasions, and our rigorous application of Challenge 25 has always stood up to scrutiny. And lastly, cumulative impact. Now, you've got a statement of licensing policy in the city. It's very good. It ran from 2020. From this year, it's got another 5 years on it. It's very good. And you're absolutely right, sir. The cumulative impact policy area runs from the cathedral down to Clifford's Tower and then out along southwest along Micklegate into Blossom Street. It doesn't cover Clifton, and therefore that part of the statement of licensing policy is not engaged, and therefore is in my submission. It is a relevant consideration and should not lie before you today. Now I'll rest now and deal with any other issues that you might have during questioning, and anything else that's needed I can deal with in mop-up at summary. Thank you very much. Thanks. How did I get on?
Thank you very much. Only for 7 minutes.
You've got a much shorter version because this 15-minute rule thingy is very popular in Europe. But usually I put some more flesh to the background and talk you through the reports I've served on and stuff like that.
Yeah, if we want any more background, now is the opportunity to ask for it. If any members of the panel have any questions,
Shall I keep this on or off?
Keep on because we're going to continue to ask you questions, so
Good.
It makes sense for now. My first question is, you mentioned other premises across York and beyond. Could you clarify which ones are in the York area, just by name, if that's okay?
So we right. So we basically Yorkshire means we got several stores, about 5 stores in York. And also we operate about 6-7 stores in Doncaster. Now we are looking to further expand, but like most of the stores is like a village locations, apart from one of our stores in right in the middle of the city centre in York. That's where we get majority of the problems in terms of, but apart from that, and we got school stores right next to the schools. In Doncaster, that's probably just like 1 minute walk away distance, and we never had we had 5 or 6 test purchases from the council. We all passed, and they send us a letter as well. That's all good, and council normally comes to review the license. Review the license means just like a check, normal checks, and they're all happy with our other, which is the basic regularly happen, which is next to the school. You know, which is where if it is close to the schools, we have a regular visit from the council to do the checks. But we never had a problem in the past in terms of selling underage, or we got strict 25 challenge 25 policy.
Thanks, Coffee.
And you know, sometimes it looks like the staff, like I said, we got about 120 staff working, and we regularly giving a proper training for them in terms. Yeah,
sort of documented. Okay.
yeah, and it's like
No, well, my question was, could you name the 5 in York, if that's okay, just so that I know which.
So, like I said, it's because of the convenience sector, it's the staffing is a big tough part.
In which 5? And which shops?
Which other 5?
Oh, in the York,
sorry.
one in which is the York City Centre. Alan's know that very well, and one in Tangle Lane, and then one is Gerard Avenue, and JMP Monkton Road, which is the Monkton Road, which is recently last October we took over that one, and then this Intake Avenue and it's got 2 in Acomb, which is the old Sainsbury's local store we took over from Sainsbury's, and then another one is 25 in Probridge Road in what is that called?
Yeah.
It's a Probridge Road,
Yeah.
probably, you know, yeah.
One opposite the fire station.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the you can't beat it.
Yeah, and Acomb will cancel, so those, the 2 Acomb ones I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the panel? Councillor Rose?
No.
No, I haven't got any questions either, so you do have the opportunity now to sum up if you would like to, up to 5 minutes. Yeah,
So if you haven't got a lot of questions, I don't need to mop up actually. Paraphrase para 9.43 of the section a minute ago. So by the way, I heard you chatting beforehand. I know you're a very experienced panel. You will know that your decision has to be evidence-based, justified as well as appropriate to the promotional licensing objectives, and any condition imposed must be proportionate as to what is intended to be achieved. What's intended to be achieved here is just a comparatively modest, not even a big one. It's a comparatively modest premises license for a small convenience store delivered by an experienced operator with no evidenced history of previous problems over the last 14 years. All the responsible authorities have got no issues with it. They would have been through this, and company have got a licensing officer here. They would have been through that application. They fine-tooth comb. If there were any concerns, then we would have had those well and truly aired. The police came up with some recommendations. We've taken them on board completely. If other people, the members of the public, raise issues that are the preserve of the licensing authority in charge of all licensing in Europe, and the police and public health and children's services and trading standards and environmental health. In my respectful submission, and it is respectful, it is not for others to try and stand in the shoes of official professional expert bodies when in my submission, when there are clearly no official issues with the application that's before you. So there's no recorded history attributable to these premises or other premises operated by him, or this DPS supervisor, or any indelible evidence of any other issues or indeed evidence cause concerns. Again, that is an undeniable and self-evident fact. There is just some speculation that it might cause problems when we to grant a license today, and in my submission, that is an insufficient reason or grounds to refuse the application. So consequently, I respectfully request that you do indeed grant this modest application, supported by the comprehensive raft of effective conditions and any others that you deem appropriate and proportionate, and that you wish copy every success with his new outlet serving the community around Intake Avenue. Thank you very much.
thank you. Does any members of the panel have any final questions or points of clarification? Well, yeah, Councillor Rose.
The only other 2 thoughts is knowing York's kind of convenience store market well is, number one, the points made by residents around visibility of alcohol for children was one of them. Often buildings on the outside will have, you know, bottles of wine or whatever as display. Is there anything that can be lawfully done in terms of restrictions on that? And the second one is that the bigger challenge health-wise for children is less alcohol and more vapes. Is there anything that can be done lawfully at all around licensing restrictions on advertising of that kind?
So the display, it would be, I will refer to Jodie, but it would be highly unusual, I think, for us to condition the display of alcohol. There have been other applications where people have put forward that they won't put alcohol in the window. I think that's been more offered than conditioned. I'll let Jodie come in on that as well. So that's my thoughts on the issue of display. Vapes was your second one. At the moment, vapes are not part of the licensing regime. So although there are rules on underage sales of vapes, which my team, the public protection team, do enforce, and the trading standards team will enforce that, it is not part of a license. So if there was no alcohol involved in this application, Copy could sell as many vapes as he likes at the moment without a license. So you would never be talking about vapes in a licensing hearing. That's okay.
Yeah, it was the answers that I already knew, but for dotting I's and crossing T's, I just wanted to say it and make sure that we'd had that advice, because that's, you know, the things that the residents who've written in would be concerned about. No, nothing else from me.
Well, just in case during our deliberations we do want to discuss anything about public displays of alcohol, do you have a view on that?
My view is it's got 14 other shops. It's never been an issue. However, my view is also this: that you are the licensing authority, you want to do what you want. Okay, so on legal advice, if you wish to condition the display of alcohol, spirits is always behind the counter anyway. You do not leave the alcohol lying about because people nick it and run out the door. So you have the other side of the counter. That's just basic.
I think it's about kind of posters and advertising as well as actual physical bottles.
I don't know what kind of problem you have in your. You need to make sure that you don't have visual representations. I know to some of these curly shops have what you call it. PVC blacked out windows, don't they?
Yeah.
Got big bottles.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not the operation he runs. This is, you know, kind of planning and looking, but planning a bit doing that.
Okay.
But I mean, probably, yeah, we sorry.
Yeah, so thank you. In terms of displaying alcohol, basically, yeah, if we have a bigger stores like a supermarket concept, and they do have a floor stacks when you go to supermarket, you can see. But particularly this store is very, very tiny. And even like before I took over, we thought, okay, so it's too small for us. And then let's come across, we've got, I mean, hospital next door, and then lots of students around there. Even the smaller store, maybe we can work it, make it work. And also the landlord was pushing, you know, we was working with the landlord. It's been closed down for 6 years and nobody not taking over, and it's lots of antisocial behavior around as well. So
What they're asking specifically is what
The display.
the display in the adverts
Yeah.
outside the shop.
okay,
And
it will be.
stacking of alcohol.
Yeah, we
within
won't
the shop.
stack anything on the floor on this particular store. And also, like I said, it depends on the size. So this shop, there is no space to stack on the floor. And there will be some promotion posters, which is supplied by the suppliers. We have to maintain that kind of, because it's part of our contract, which is we have to run their promotions, which is nationally they're running promotion. We cannot ignore unless we have the right reason for it. But yeah, it will be some posters, but not like floor stacks on the windows or anything. Yeah.
It's not a booze busters, I think he's saying.
Okay.
You know, when making stack it high, look it cheap, that this is a convenience store that also happens to sell alcohol.
Any other final questions or points of clarifications from the panel? Yeah, all completely comfortable, we've got everything we need to be able to make a determination. Yeah, okay. In that case, we'll close the public meeting now. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time. We'll go into private session to make our deliberations, and then the plan is to make a decision today and then come back into public session to announce that decision. So you're welcome to wait and then come back in or watch online, and you will be told ASAP the outcome as well. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. Okay, well, thank you everybody for your time today and for everyone who's engaged in the consultation process. We've considered all of the information that was provided in advance and all the information that's been provided during this hearing today, and we've agreed option 1, which is to grant the licence in the terms applied for. All parties will be informed of that in writing ASAP with full decision notice and conditions. Okay. Okay, well, thank you again to everybody for all your time.